In Fortnite, sometimes they'll add weapons that are instantly deleted, but never tell us why. Example number 1, you can turn Cap's shield from this to a death machine. Aiming in would increase the damage, and when Epic realized the Monarch glitch, they panicked, making it one of 23 features that no longer exist. And this led me to the Heisted Breacher Shotgun, because on day 1, this destroyed any wall in a single hit. Just look how broken this was. After all of the backlash, it happened, and they turned it into a Nerf gun. But you probably didn't realize what happened to bounties. These were a feature for years before Chapter 5 rolled around and deleted all of the classic job boards, or so we thought. Turns out in shadow briefings, you could secretly choose to hunt down a bounty just like before. The data had to show that no one used this because within the same season, it was cut from Chapter 5 and bounties have never returned since. One of the strangest experiments was when Fortnite decided to announce the metaverse, dropping Lego, Rocket Racing, and Festival out of nowhere. This even affected Battle Royale players, as the Battle Pass included cars and instruments. Fans actually complained about this at the time, saying they would rather have emotes and skins, and after just 2 seasons, Epic stopped doing it, filling the item shop with these instead. A feature that seriously flopped was my man Triage Trooper. He was added this season as a medic NPC, letting you pay him gold to follow you around and heal you. He literally had this as his only job and sucked at it, barely healing anyone. Suffice to say, he was fired as a doctor and deleted within days. Not the only strange removal from Season 4. On the very first day, we jumped in and fought off Doom's henchmen, only to realize they could be revived. Apparently, there was a way to give them a second chance, and this would convert them from Doom followers to our team. It was honestly an OP way to get NPCs without spending gold, except out of nowhere, within just a few hours, we approached henchmen and couldn't hire them. Must be a glitch, right? Well, the days went on, and this feature was still nowhere to be found. We are now well into the season, and it looks like this update might be gone for good. And that wasn't the only surprise waiting for us on launch day, with the new Marvel season removing a ton of items, including the Thunderburst SMG. This was meant to be deleted from the loot pool until players started shooting down supply drones and got an unexpected gift. Immediately, Fortnite patched this, but that didn't stop the burst from showing up again. On the same day, players eliminated Nisha, and there it was right by their feet. Once again, Epic messed up and rushed to delete it. At least we got a couple days to experience the superhero mythics in the way they were intended. At the start, these powers were busted, like War Machine's arsenal, Cap's shield, and jetpacks. Honestly, they took over the game. It was kind of like the start of Wrecked with how OP cars were. And so just like Wrecked, Fortnite decided it was too much. Within days, all of these mythics would eventually be nerfed into the ground, giving Cap's shield less damage, accuracy, and time to block, while War Machine's rockets took longer to reload and had less damage to builds. Obviously, balancing was important to keep people from rage quitting, but if you weren't around in the first couple of days, you missed out on a truly superhero battleground. But there was an even more broken item, and it was Yoda. I'm not joking, this guy could be combined with Zoidberg's Scuttle emote, and the results were hilarious. By which I mean it's the last thing you'd see before the game crashed. It wasn't just you that'd be taken down, everyone in the area would also crash, making these cosmetics the greatest way to troll people ever. This obviously became a priority for Epic as they desperately tried to fix it. What we weren't expecting though was how it took them a whole week to do this. And at the start of Chapter 5, an exotic item was added that most players have forgotten about. You could find the icy grappler around the map, the first time this has been in Fortnite since Chapter 2. Fans were excited to try it out after so many years, only to realize you could combine it with flow berries. This let you slide around at insanely fast speeds. The game couldn't keep up and would straight up crash entire lobbies because of it. Less than 24 hours later, the damage was too much, forcing Epic to delete the icy grappler from the game, replacing it with a regular old one instead. We wish we had more time to play around with Fortnite's insane weather update. Overnight, tornadoes and lightning were brought to the game, and while you probably remember tornadoes, the other half of the update vanished. For only a couple days, you could walk around and have the risk of being struck by lightning. It would take off a chunk of your health, but in return, you would get the chilly speed effect. Honestly, it wasn't the best, it didn't damage you that much, but regardless, this probably wasn't the reason it disappeared in less than a week. Epic has kept that answer a secret. One of these strangest updates that showed up out of nowhere was Builder's Paradise. I imagine most of you don't even remember this, it was only around for a couple days in Chapter 1, but it let everyone edit each other's builds, resulting in chaos.
Let's go. I just love it. Just editing their builds and manipulating it is just Feels evil, but it feels so good.
But I kinda wish we still had the secret weapon of Chapter 4. When we landed on this new map, there was snow everywhere. It makes sense, it was winter after all. And to get in the mood, Fortnite let us build their own snowballs and hide inside of them. After pushing it down a hill, you could basically drive around in your very own boulder and flatten enemies. Players actually love this feature and it was super unique, but for some reason Epic decided it would be better to remove it instead. Although I don't think players want to see the return of OG shockwave hammers. In the early days of Chapter 4, these were busted, letting you hold multiple of them in your inventory and cycle through them with no consequences.
You can't run! Just accept it!
I don't know why Epic thought this was a good idea, but they quickly learned their mistake and totally nerfed the cooldown on them. This incident is the reason you can't really hold multiple melee weapons ever again. Let's talk about the item that was actually meant to be banned. During the launch of the Greek God season, they teased an upcoming weapon called the Chains of Hades. This wasn't meant to arrive until later on, but players loaded into Team Rumble and popped open a supply drop. Lo and behold, there it was. Let's just say, Epic were not happy, deleting it within hours. And if we're talking about the Greek powers, one of them was Zeus's Thunderbolt. Now looking back on it, most of you are probably like, this thing sucked, I never even picked it up, but there's a reason for that. At the beginning, it was one of the most powerful weapons in the game, letting you strike players through builds.
The Zeus Mythic is perfect for third partying, and I'm about to show you exactly why.
I mean, you can't even counter that, but instead of balancing it, Fortnite went and nerfed it into the ground, making it the weakest mythic we've had in years. Not the only thing that went through walls. Back in the day, they made a random update that allowed grenades to damage you even if a build was between you. Within 24 hours of this patch going live, fans were outraged, calling it a disaster, and Epic were starting to panic. This was in 2018 where the idea of a bad update freaked them out, so they made a Reddit post the same day claiming they would get the change reverted ASAP. Fast forward to modern day and we're still getting broken updates. This season, for one random day, fans opened their locker to find an updated superhero. Was it one of the new Marvel skins? No, it was Eddie Barak, or what was left of him anyway, because he was turned into a floating head. You might remember an item that was barely in the game but made a massive impact. The dial-a-drop let you call in anything from a supply drop to a car, except Fortnite messed this up. After requesting your loot, you could drop the item and just pick it back up, letting you request it as many times as you wanted. This glitch allowed fans to stack unlimited supply drops, forcing Epic to straight up ban it, and we've never seen it since. But a seriously OG update was also hugely controversial. In the middle of Chapter 1, Fortnite dropped a video announcing Storm Destruction.
Less than 10% of our matches are affected by this, or make it that long. And so we're really trying to tactically adjust the final stages to provide a little more dynamic gameplay.
Yeah, it's exactly what it sounds like. At the end of a match, the Storm would destroy builds. It was one of the most ridiculous decisions Epic has ever made. Players thought it was a late April Fool's joke or something. It led to massive backlash, even tournaments being ruined, forcing Epic to sweep it under the rug and just never talk about it again. More recently, there was a feature that only lasted a few days, causing Rex OP cars to become even stronger. At the start, everyone was rushing to get one of these boss vehicles, until players found a way to glitch into the cage. This not only got them the car early, but trolling enemies into thinking they were first.
I'm not gonna fire. I'm gonna fire when he gets here.
Release the Kraken!
Yeah, it worked! Okay.
It was so broken, Epic was forced to patch it immediately, and it also led them to nerf boss cars in general. Some features couldn't even handle the spotlight, like when Fortnite added challenges to the game which roasted players, asking us to spend 5 minutes touching grass. Unfortunately for us, this quest couldn't even spend 5 minutes in the game because Epic were scared of making fun of us for playing, so they scrapped it. If only they put this much care into not baiting us. At one point in 2023, the map was updated with Stark Industries folders. Fans went nuts over this, theorizing that the return of Iron Man was finally upon us. Well, it was a total accident, causing Epic to swoop in and replace the desk with a different one in the next update. How many of these did you remember? Let me know in the comments below. It's been Tommy, and keep it here on Top 5 Gaming.